Jillian Carmichael. I am a real estate agent in Northern Virginia, and I want to touch on moving with pets. I personally have two dogs. One is a golden doodle who's actually sitting at my feet, so if you see a white furry moving blanket, it's actually my dog, and you see his head right here. His name is Buddy, and I also have a Shih Tzu. Or a Shih Tzu Maltese. He's about 13 now, and he has moved with me a lot. He is the reason that this dog is crate trained. So my Shih Tzu Maltese, his name is Snoopy. He's just a little guy, but he's a very anxious dog. We have tried different medications for him, but it's just, he is who he is, and we love him for it. But when moving, the boxes everywhere, he's getting anxious. He is either right by my side, right by my husband's side, just because he's like, okay, what is going on? I'm gonna stick to a more concrete person. Because he's not crate trained, it was really hard to ensure that he never got out, which he did a couple of times, and we ended up having to lock him in the front of our truck because that was the only place we could put him where he wasn't losing his mind, panting, barking, yelping, crying, all of the things. I mean, it made me feel like a terrible dog mom, but there was too many people, too many things moving in and out. He couldn't just be shut in a room. Just because every time he was scratching at the door, the whining or whatever, he just needed something. So when he was in the truck, he was able to see people moving in and out, and somehow that kept him contained. So I think that when it comes to moving with animals, it is good to have a conversation about who they are, what their temperament is, and what are the challenges that are gonna potentially going to come up. You know your pets the best. You know what they are going to tolerate and what they are not. Buddy hasn't met a person yet that he just hasn't liked. But if we are on a walk together and it's just him and I, and there's big people, typically big men walking towards us, he starts like growling or getting uncomfortable, to protect me. If I'm with my husband, who is a big dude, and he's holding the leash, he's like, yeah, cool, like he's calm. So I have to understand these, and typically when you've got movers, you've got a bunch of men coming in and out. Typically, obviously there are women there too, because us women are strong. But for the most part, you've got a bunch of people coming in and out, right? And so I don't know how he's going to react in that situation. But luckily for us, he is crate trained. Again, we crate trained him because of all the things that we learned with Snoopy. So I think that when I know that I have clients that are selling their house, or we are trying to find what's next and there is going to be a move, we talk about what that's going to look like. I personally, because of my dogs, one again isn't crate trained and the other one is, I wouldn't be comfortable with showing my house and having my dogs there without me. I would want to make a plan to have them out, and that's me personally. There have been others where the dogs are just the best dogs ever. They're in their crates and they just stay away, and the cats will just follow you around. There are other cats that if the door is left ajar, they are going to go out. We're never going to see them again. So again, this is why it's so important to understand your animal and understand if we are purchasing a home and we are going to be having to move, is there a way that maybe they can go stay with a friend or a family member, or maybe there is a boarding place that you love and that they love, and they can just go there for a week or two so that they can, or a couple of days, just so that you can get the move out of the way, not have to worry about them bolting out the door or getting stressed, because when an animal is stressed, you do run the risk of them growling or snapping or something that they wouldn't necessarily do, but they're put under a stressful situation and you just don't know. And so for me personally, that's how I would do it with my dogs. We've obviously moved and had to shut them in the car, you know, with the AC going or whatever, depending on what the weather is turning into, because that was what was best for him. And now he's getting older, obviously he's going to change as time comes along. For my folks that are moving with cats, my parents actually, I grew up with cats, and my parents, when they moved from one place to another, they actually boarded them because it just made sense for them. The cats were just getting very stressed out, they were vomiting, there was diarrhea, they were just like, this is just too much for them, let's get them somewhere safe. Once we are settled, we're going to bring them in, and then we're going to put them into like a room for them first to get used to the new house, right? And there are so many different things that we can talk about when it comes to being in the new place with your animal, depending on the type of animal, depending on your situation. Touching on if you are selling your house and you have pets, what is the best thing you can do? I encourage my clients to get their animals out. It is, I think it's just, if, again, I kind of stutter a little bit with this one because some pets are fine. And if you are 100% like, my pets are going to be fine, they're going to be great, they're going to manage it well, awesome. But if you have any hesitation, let's figure out boarding, let's figure out a family member they can stay with, or you guys just all go. Because seriously, when you're on the market for the first week, the best thing you can do is go on the market on like, you know, midweek, and then you're gone for that weekend, and hopefully we can get you under contract so that way you don't have people coming in and out and having to get your animals out for the showings and the whatever. Because honestly, if you can get as many people coming through your house, looking at your house, that's the best thing. You know, the more eyes on your house, the more it should result in offers or interest, or at least some feedback that you can either adjust on whatever needs to happen, because every listing and every market, you know, the market condition changes regularly. So the market condition now is not going to be the same in 6 months, won't be the same in 6 years, you know, it wasn't the same 2 years ago, right? So moving with animals is stressful, and I want you to walk away from this knowing that every pet owner goes through it, and a plan up front, an honest conversation with your agent about what they're like, what you are comfortable with, what are the resources that you have, and how can we work together to ensure that they are happy and comfortable during this uncertain, this exciting, this roller coaster of emotions. And then ensuring that it's just not a stress that you're going to do it. My dog's tail is in the screen, but it's something that there, again, so much stress happens when you're moving. Let's figure out how to mitigate them as much as possible, and that's having open lines of communication about your pets, where they're at, what we're doing, and what situation we're going to have. And so that way we can plan, so that when your house goes on the market, or then when we find what's next, we are not trying to scramble with finding somebody that you don't know to take care of your pet, or having to do what I did, which is lock your dog in a truck, which you just may have to do, and that's okay too, because I did it.